Hi folks, this is video number 121 and the title is At Random. The definition of at random: without definite aim, direction, rule, or method. Example: subjects chosen at random. This subject came up while at lunch this week with my sister and Karen and Lou. I mentioned that I remembered a shooting incident I thought I would write about. It went as follows. The Dallas office called me at home and told me there was a shooting victim at Tyler Hospital and that the incident happened on State Game Land 57. 57 consists of about 60,000 acres between Forkston and Noxon. The hospital was only about 3 miles from my house. I jumped in the truck and headed for the emergency room. My equipment was always in my truck, so I just needed to grab a notepad and pen. I was in plain clothes, but I identified myself with my pocket ID badge and photo card. The person at the desk directed me to the victim, where I again ID'd and introduced myself. He was an older man, probably in his 50s, as I recall. He had a large gauze square taped to the side of his neck. I asked the usual questions. What time? Location? Who were you with? Any witnesses? The story went like this. He was hiking alone in the vicinity of the stone cabin. As he was walking along the Game Lands Road, he felt a sting in his neck. It was a strong sting, so he figured it was a wasp or perhaps a hornet. The pain was strong but lessened as he hiked the 5 miles back to his car. The stone cabin is approximately in the middle of Game Lands 57. There is nothing but forest for 5 miles in any direction. The man continued to tell me that he proceeded to go home and really didn't think much about the sting. Later that evening, his neck started to bother him. It had become swollen in the area of the sting. His wife told him to go to the emergency room and get it checked out. If I remember right, they took an x-ray of his neck. Anyway, they numbed him up and cut open the swollen lump on his neck. What did they find? A 40 grain 22 caliber bullet. That's when they called Dallas. The victim never heard a gunshot. In fact, it was quiet as he was enjoying his hike on a nice sunny afternoon. He never saw or heard anyone else the entire time. That didn't leave me with anything to follow up on, so I wrote it up as a result of someone unknown shooting at random. That man was very lucky. An inch or less to the side, and he would have been hit in the jugular vein and would have been dead a long time before he was found. When I finished my story, Karen reminded Lou that a similar thing happened to one of their neighbors in Florida. Karen and Lou were snowbirds for a few years after taking retirement from P&G. It seems the neighbor was sitting and watching television on New Year's Eve. A bullet came down through the roof of his trailer and hit him in the upper arm. It seems to me that there are indeed people out there who slept through science class when they covered the effects of gravity, or they never went to that class at all. When you see rebels in a foreign land celebrating by shooting multiple bursts into the air, I can't help but wonder how many of each other they took out when those bullets came back down. Safety is the first consideration when it comes to the game law, as well as criminal law. Shooting someone is good for some jail time, a fine, and restitution for medical expenses, even accidentally. And that concludes my discussion about at random. All the best, folks. All the best.